Good morning and happy Easter. Welcome to the first edition video of the Casual Smoker. Several years ago, I bought a electric Brinkmann smoker and started on my journey of smoking some of the most delicious meats that God has provided. Well, a few of you have asked if I could do some training videos, some tutorials about how I do it, and I am not a professional by any means, but I have fun doing it. And so I'm going to show you today how to smoke some country-style ribs. A few days ago, I stumbled across a great deal at our local grocery store. I bought a 22-pound pork shoulder and got a really good price on it. So what I did is I divided that pork shoulder in half, and then I made half of it into 2 roasts, which we'll smoke later, and then the other half I cut into country-style ribs. So today we're going to show you how I do that, and I hope this is a help to you and an encouragement to you, and you learn something as you begin your smoking journey. So the first thing I did after cutting the roast in half is I cut it into the size for country-style ribs. And this is half of that 22 pounds, so it's about 11 pounds of meat here in this container, cut into these average size ribs. Now I'm going to rub it with what I love to use on ribs is this famous Dave's rib rub. And I'll just put a little bit on there and rub it in, and then we'll get this stuff ready to go on the smoker. After I have both sides of each rib rubbed down with the famous Dave's, then I'm going to add just a little bit of seasoning salt to each one. Honestly, I don't put a lot of seasoning on something like this because I want the smoke to provide the flavor in the meat. You'll notice that there's still a little bit of fat left on these pieces, and that's intentional also because you don't want the meat to dry out. So as it spends several hours on the smoker, a lot of that fat will cook off, but the best part about it is it'll keep the meat moist. Now I like to use a Lowry's seasoning salt, but I'm all out of that. So I just got this stuff here. This is just a cheap generic brand of seasoned salt that I buy at our local grocery store. And I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of that on the meat. Again, I don't want to put too much on there because I want the smoke to provide the flavor. Now it's time to fire up the smoker. Before I put the meat on, I want to make sure this is good and hot. This is my smoker. It's a pretty simple one, really. It's just a Brinkmann electric smoker, and I'll show you the inside. It's just starting to get warmed up. So I put the wood chunks in around the burner. You can see I use this thing quite a bit. And then it's got room for 3 things that are going to go inside. 2 racks of meat, and then a pan of water, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Today I'm going to be smoking with these 100% natural hickory wood chunks. I also like mesquite, but for today I'm using hickory. Here's a little secret I learned. Soak your wood in water before you put it in the smoker. It'll help it not to catch on fire and help it to provide more smoke. Maybe the most important part of the smoking process is the pan of water that I put inside. This keeps your meat moist. Unless you want to eat beef jerky for lunch, make sure you've got some water in your smoker to keep that humidity level up and keep the meat moist while it's smoking for several hours. So while the smoker's heating up outside, I'm getting the meat ready to go on the smoker. It's already been rubbed and it's already been seasoned. And one little trick I learned is I rub the smoking racks down with a little bit of olive oil, and that keeps the meat from sticking to the racks, makes it a lot easier to clean a little later. So I like to space my meat out on the racks so that smoke can easily flow through the racks. I'm only smoking enough meat for our family today, so I don't have to pile it real high. But I'll space it out on the racks, and then when the smoker heats up, it's time to put the stuff on. Okay, so the smoker's heated up now. My smoker doesn't have a thermostat on it, so I just kind of have to watch and feel. And once the smoke starts rising out and it gets pretty hot, then I go ahead and put the meat on. And you can probably see some of the smoke rising out of there now. So I'm going to put the meat in the smoker, and then I'm going to put the lid on it, and I'm not going to open it again for about 3 hours. This has been smoking now for about 2 hours and 45 minutes, and we've enjoyed our Sunday school and church services online. And every 45 minutes or an hour, I put another chunk of wood in the bottom, in the smoker part. But now I like to flip the ribs over so that one side is not crusty and the other side soft. So we're going to go ahead and open it up and take a gander at what we've got going on in there. And we're going to flip these over, and then I'm going to close it back up for about another hour, and it'll be time for lunch. Okay, it's been about 3.5 hours, and it's going to be time to take the meat off. So that's what it looks like, fresh off the smoker. Usually, I like to turn the heat off and just let it sit for about 15 or 20 minutes before I pull it off the grill. It tenderizes it and lets that flavor soak in. Then we're going to pair it with some grilled asparagus and some grilled zucchini and some baked potato. And we're ready to eat here on this Easter Sunday, and we'll show you a picture of it after we take it off the grill. So here's the finished product. It's melt-in-your-mouth tender, some grilled asparagus and zucchini basted with olive oil and some seasoning salt thrown on. I like to eat mine without any kind of barbecue sauce or steak sauce, but if you're going to choose barbecue sauce, you can't beat Sonny's Barbecue. That's the best there is. Like I said, I'm not a professional, but I've been doing this for a little while, and we cook it the way we like it. So I encourage you to do the same. Cook it the way you like it and enjoy this Easter weekend. God bless.